Welcome to Speed Bump Garage. My name is Kent. That's Jack. Everybody knows Jack. And those of you keeping track, we're getting kind of a lot of vehicles.
Yeah.
And every time I make a video like this, we did with this truck, I say we're getting a truck running to sell it, but then this truck has turned into such a useful, nice truck, it's hard for us to get rid of it. I can't promise you we're gonna get rid of it because we were gonna get rid of that one, but we kind of like it now. But we have a GMC over here that I think is next on the chopping block, but
it'll probably end up being one of those things. Oh, it's so useful, we can't sell it. Let's try to find a different one.
One of the green trucks has to go. I don't know whether it's going to be the GMC or the bump side, but we at least have to get them both really functional, and then we'll make the hard decision of which one's going down the road. But as of right now, this has been sitting here for a year. I bought it a year ago off Facebook Marketplace, was not looking for a truck, and this one popped up. It has a Big Block Chevy in it. I bought it. The previous owner said it had a bad transmission leak and he was tired of it, wanted it out of his way. Since I fixed the transmission leak, I think I've done one video on it. We did a test drive on it. The transmission leak is fixed to my knowledge, but the Big Block runs like absolute garbage. He told me it was a brand new Big Block, fresh out of the machine shop with no miles on it because of the transmission issue, and it runs terrible. It's a pretty nice long bed. I actually don't remember what year it is. I think it's the 70 GMC.
There's our little fire extinguisher.
Yeah, fire extinguisher still in it from the test drive. It's got a new DJM lowering kit on it. This is a leaf spring truck, leaf spring 5-lug truck, which was something I didn't realize. A lot of the GMCs had leaf springs instead of the truck arms on this body style, and it has a lot of good parts on it. There that fresh Big Block is.
Wonder what's wrong with it.
I actually know the guy that I bought it from, so I believe him that this is fresh out of the machine shop, and I think it's probably something simple that's making it run like crap. We just haven't had a chance to do it. It does have this kind of homemade serpentine setup on it and some pretty questionable wiring. So we'll start sorting through some of that. I would hate to send it down the road with all that questionable wiring and not running good, because this truck with a good Big Block in it is a pretty valuable truck. Honestly, it's more valuable than the bump side Ford, but I kind of like that the bump side Ford's all factory. And this thing has had a lot of people's hands on it. I think that's part of the reason we're fighting it right now. So what should we do first?
I don't even know where to start. I haven't drove it.
Yeah, Jack wasn't with us on this test drive. I think AJ went with me on the test drive of this one. What I'm wondering, it has a aftermarket HEI distributor in it, like a Chinese one. I'm hoping that maybe that's the issue. I've got another distributor we can throw in it. Maybe we can do a compression test. Let's see what it's gonna take to get it in the shop. Think it'll start?
Probably not. I hate to be negative, but I don't think it will start.
I think the battery's dead. Is the battery hooked up?
Yeah, the battery's hooked up, which is unusual for you. Yeah, it's dead.
I told Jack to get us something over here to jump start this. He grabbed the most inconvenient vehicle to jump something. The Bug. Of course, that's not him driving it. The old Bug's not running very good. Sounds like it's missing. See why this isn't the best choice?
Yeah.
This battery is really dead. I don't think the little Bug's gonna cut it. Might have to get something over here that has an alternator on it.
Change of plans. Dad's just gonna push it to the shop with the old skid steer. Hopefully this goes well.
She made a little noise. Almost wonder if this isn't timing related with that slow turning over. I cannot remember what all I've done to this truck. I think I looked at the spark plugs, but I wouldn't put money on it. It looks like the distributor's loose. Oh yeah. I don't think I've ever touched the timing on this thing, so that tells me maybe the distributor's got moved. Still think we're fighting battery issues, even with this battery. Showing to be on the upper end of weak. I think we might have to rob a battery out of something else. I know the Ranchero's not going anywhere for a while.
I'm having hard work right here.
What are you doing?
I'm making a cardboard fort and I'm having to cut cardboard with scissors and it's hard.
It is hard. There's my old trusty blue top. Go ahead and shut that off. I have moved the distributor both directions to where I don't know where it was because it wasn't locked down. So we need to check the timing, but it didn't sound too bad right there. I did go ahead and back it out because we have our temporary merchandise set up over there. And I don't want everybody's clothes smelling like exhaust. Speedbumpgarage.com if you want some non-exhausted clothes. I think that'll be a good starting point. I think that's somewhere around 14, 15 initial, around 35-ish total with the vacuum advance unhooked. It's really tough taking over a project like this where the previous owner didn't have a lot of information that he was willing to share on the internals of this engine because I don't really know where to start. I don't know what compression we're dealing with. I know I've got 91 octane in it right now. Seems really happy right there. It starts pretty good most of the time. We're just gonna have to put some miles on it and see what happens. I did notice when I went to back it out of the shop, the transmission was pretty slow to engage. So I think we might be a little bit low on transmission fluid, which is shocking because I thought I had the transmission leak fixed. Sure enough, you can see where the front tires were. Definitely had a transmission leak. That may not be a big deal. A lot of times when these trucks like that sit for a while, all the transmission fluid drains back out of your converter and it'll find its way out somewhere because it really overfills the pan. We will have to get it up on the lift and take a look at that, but I think I'll fill it up for now. Probably take it for a spin and see what that little timing change makes, which is tough because I don't know if we changed it because I grabbed a hold of that distributor and it wasn't locked down before we did anything. So I'm gonna lock it down right here and then AJ and I'll probably go for a ride. You wanna go for a ride?
Yeah.
What do you got going on?
Trying to get to find where the pole doesn't bend.
Where did you get that tape?
Your drawer.
People talk about kids in their shop. I'll tell you two things you're never gonna be able to find. Your scissors and your tape. And a lot of times your screwdrivers, three things.
I don't steal screwdrivers.
AJ definitely takes my scissors and tape anytime he gets a chance. I know I said some of that wiring was questionable, but look at this. We got electric fans running. Don't put your fingers in there. And they actually have it wired up to a coolant temperature sensor right here to this relay. It is wired correctly, they just left all their extra wire bundled up. I don't really like that, but it works.
This thing's turned out way better than I thought it was gonna be, and this thing goes fast. And it's pretty fast. Well, it goes faster. It's just one of the tires.
It's pretty fast.
It's pretty fast. And before I take this back inside, it's gonna need some major tire cleaning.
Oh yeah, that might be a shop toy now. I definitely have to wipe it down.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, fired right up. I'm gonna unhook the battery charger this time.
We've got the fire extinguisher in here, so if we catch on fire, so
Here, you sit right here.
the truck just goes on fire.
Yeah, that would be a bad deal.
I think somebody was trying to be cool and crack this windshield.
They probably just got a rock chip.
Probably.
No! We're not having very good luck here.
Probably because you said it was running really good.
Boy, it don't seem like it's running near as good as it was in the driveway. I don't know what's going on. When I was timing it, it sounded nice and crisp. This sounds awful now. Something's not right.
I think we broke something, Dad.
I'm gonna have to check that timing again. It sounds like it moved. The timing is just all over the place, and I don't really understand why. It has to be something with that distributor. I really thought right when we timed it the first time, I locked that distributor down, thought we had it fixed. Well, I pulled the spark plug on number 1, and it is covered in soot really bad. I don't know how well that's showing up. That can mean a couple things, but what I think it means in this situation is I think it's ignition related for sure. I think we're fighting that distributor. I don't think we're firing hard enough. I think over-fueling can cause a little bit of that too. I really don't think that's the issue here. Could be an air mixture issue, but man, that's a lot of soot on there. I was even having kind of intermittent hits on my timing light. I don't think this plug was firing hard enough to shine my light, which is wild. I've never seen that before. What I'll do next, I'm gonna power wash the engine off because it's covered in dirt from sitting outside and the blow sand around here. Well guys, it's actually the next night and I snuck out here for a few minutes just to get a jump start on troubleshooting, and I think I might have found a problem. So I talked to a good friend of mine, kind of spitballing on what we thought might be wrong with this truck. First thing he said was check your voltage to your HEI. One of the causes of these soot-covered plugs we saw could be a weak spark. Let me show you what I found. So if you remember, the wiring is a little bit of a mess on this truck, and first place I went was the distributor for the HEI, and we do have 12 volts there with keyed power. We've got ignition power, 12 volts, and the wiring out there looks pretty bad. We've seen that, but the wiring in here is no exception. It looks pretty bad also. I need to simulate loading this system like what the HEI does, and I did that with this light bulb. This is just a headlamp. It's actually a green one that was for one of my old cars that I didn't like the way they looked in there. So I'll show you how I loaded this. It's gonna be a little difficult to film. Well, first thing, I unhooked the fuse block from the wall so I could see the bulkhead where the wires go through the firewall, because I know which wire he tied onto to hook to the HEI. I wanted to get a look at it in here. So we're gonna check voltage on this side of it, which is behind this fuse panel. And you can see we've just got gobs of added onto wires, butt connectors, scotch locks. All this needs addressed, but until I can make the truck run decent, it's hard for me to get motivated to fix any of that. I am hooked up to this side of the bulkhead, the electrical bulkhead, for the ignition on power, the keyed power. And I'll show you. So this black wire is tied onto it. We're gonna light this light bulb with it to simulate the load of the HEI. This might be just a little more of the load than the HEI would put on it, but I bet it's pretty close. We're gonna go keyed on power. Yeah, so you see how bright that's lighting that up? That is going to simulate the load of our ignition system. I don't know if you can see the voltage on that voltmeter, but I'll tell you what it's saying either way. Okay, so the unloaded ignition system, 12.28 volts. That is definitely good enough to run the ignition, but let's see what it does with a bigger amp load. We're gonna light the light. Drops us down to 10.72. I'm confident that that would definitely run the ignition. On this side of the electrical bulkhead, we're good, 10.72. Now let's go see what it does at the distributor. Now keep in mind, we are just starting the troubleshooting phase, so we might not have found the problem, but we definitely found a problem. Here is the engine side of that bulkhead that we were testing, and this white wire right here is what I was testing the other side of the firewall on. It's pink on the other side, but we've got white right here, and that is what we've got hooked to our ignition on. And it changes from white to yellow, then it splits and goes to nothing, so we definitely have to clean that up. And it's kind of exposed and a little bit of a fire hazard, but we're going to check voltage now. So this, before I pulled it out of the loom, was hooked to the HEI distributor on that crimped connection. So we'll do the same thing right here that we did inside. And what you should see is the same results that we saw inside. Let me get you guys on the tripod so I can show you the whole picture. We've got keyed power. Ignition's on right now. We've got 12.3 volts. Now let's load it and see what it does here. Remember, it dropped it to 10.7 or something like that in there. Power our light. Now you can tell, I don't know if it's showing up on camera, but that light is for sure dimmer out here than it was in the truck. And with that load of that headlight out here, it's dropped us all the way down to 5 volts, 5.5 volts. So here's what I'm thinking. I think this wire or one of these really terrible connections is bad. Or it could be this connection right here. So that would be awesome if that was the problem. If that's gonna be easy to fix, I will throw a new wire on it from here straight to the distributor. Sadly, I don't have time to go after that wire tonight, but we got a game plan. We know what's possibly wrong with it, and I'm gonna sleep a little bit better tonight, because I don't know about you guys, when I have a silly problem like that that just eats at me, I lay in bed and think about it, and I promise you I'm gonna sleep a little better tonight knowing that we may have this sucker whooped. So be back shortly. See you guys right now. And we're back on what is hopefully the third and final day of this video. I did a few things off camera. I went ahead and got all 8 spark plugs out of it, and they all kind of looked pretty much like number 1 that we saw. They're all pretty much soot covered. There was one oddball NGK plug in it, and the rest are AC Delco, and 2 of the Delcos had cracked porcelain on them. So I went ahead and just grabbed a new set. I've already got them gapped, and I threw the new ignition wire in the bulkhead. I went ahead and pulled the terminal all the way out of it and cleaned it. And we've got our new wire ran. I don't have the end on it because I want to show you guys the voltage drop on it now that we've got the new wire after I get it hooked back up. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm pretty confident we've got it fixed. So step 1, let's get that bulkhead hooked back up. I am going to throw a little bit of dielectric grease on these terminals just to lubricate them and make them go in a little easier. All right, moment of truth, key is on. We do have power. 12.25 with the unloaded system. Let's load it with our light bulb. Oh yeah, I can already tell that that's better than before. Out here we were dropping to 5.5, and inside, I can't remember exactly, 10.2 or something like that. 10.55. Huge improvement. We got twice the voltage now. Man, I hope that fixes it. One little wire could have been what's wrong with this thing, and I've had it setting parked for a year. I went ahead and picked up an actual HEI plug to plug into the distributor. I'll wire this red side into the wire we just tested, hook the green wire into the tachometer that's mounted on the steering column, throw the plugs in it, and then we'll go for a ride. All right, we are running low on time, so I went ahead and just threw everything else together, got all the plugs in it, checked the firing order. You can see the new HEI plug right there. Kind of just have everything roughed in for now. This truck still needs a lot of wiring work because there's just old wires everywhere not being used that need cleaned up. But I think we're ready for a test drive. And then we got AJ here. He just showed up, even though he crashed his tricycle. You want to go for a ride?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Definitely need this with this truck until we get the wiring cleaned up.
Yes.
Let's give it a shot.
Those wires can catch on fire.
They definitely will catch on fire. Now, I didn't touch the timing. We're still locked down where I had it before. Oh, let me grab my sunglasses. Sounds decent right now.
Yeah. I remember last time we tried to take it on a test drive, it was a fail because the timing was perfect, and then whenever we took it on a test drive, it wasn't.
Yeah, I think I figured out the problem. We had a bad wire. We'll run her out on the road and find out. Here, sit back and buckle up. I think we fixed it. That feels pretty good. Oh, second gear scratch. We fixed it, buddy.
Second gear works.
Man.
That's gonna stink it up.
Yeah, buddy. We only left one tire marked. Oh, I'm so glad this truck is fixed.
Yeah, we still have to clean up the wiring, but it's not gonna be that big of a deal.
It's crazy, something as simple as that little tiny wire can make this truck just seem worthless. This thing's been sitting in the pasture for a year just because I was kind of disappointed in how it ran.
So we kind of just left it sitting, and he could have just.
I could have been driving it this whole time.
Yeah, you could have just fixed it to like in 15 minutes.
I know. Isn't that ridiculous?
Yes.
I knew we'd fix it.
Same. I didn't know it would be that easy though. Did you?
Oh yeah.
At least we didn't have to do as much to it as we had to do on the Starliner. Unlock it and everything like that.
Yeah, this one was much easier.
Yes.
Let's see if it starts back up. Oh yeah. Big block power, buddy. Well, here we are, ending episode 2 exactly like we ended episode 1. Look at that beautiful Oklahoma sunset, and doesn't this old GMC look great in it?
About a year ago.
So just as I thought, we got a little taste of the horsepower of that big block. Oh, another thing, it's a 454. I was running through some of the previous footage. I never said that. The guy did say it's a 454 big block Chevy. We got a little taste of that big block this afternoon, and nobody's sure they want to get rid of this truck now.
I want him.
AJ wants to keep the Ford and sell this. Jack wants to keep this, sell the Ford. I want to keep them both. What is your reasoning for wanting the Ford and not the GMC?
Because we've had the Ford way longer, and it just reminds me more about the blue truck. And
Oh, we sold a 78 Ford that was on the channel. AJ called it the little blue truck. He loved it. We had to sell it. I was a partner on it. One of my buddies owned it with me. But we're talking about that green truck, the bump side. The blue truck he's talking about was actually a dent side Ford. AJ sure misses the little blue truck.
yeah.
So he really likes the green truck. Well, we don't know what we're gonna do. We're for sure gonna have some fun with it. It's springtime now. Got some good weather coming up to enjoy this truck.
And next week we'll get more on it because it's spring break.
Next week's spring break. That's gonna be fun. What are your plans?
We'll drive it more. We'll go on an adventure. It's gonna be fun.
Go on an adventure in this?
Yeah.
That sounds like a good plan. So thank you guys so much for watching.
And you actually might get another taste of crawling. You never know.
Crawling, RC crawling, hit us up in the comments if you want to see AJ do some more RC crawling. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys on the next one.